welcome back to another video. So it's simply Heyyyy here, and I'm back with another book vlog. Alright, so I've been doing a lot of book shopping and quite a lot of reading. I just finished one book and I'm actually about to do a review on it today when I go to the park. It's such a beautiful day outside, so I want to be outside, just be one with nature. And then I have a really busy few days the next few days, so I kind of wanted to chill today and just like enjoy my own company, have some alone time. And I love these like little solo dates that I take myself on. Even though I never like go out, I always just like go to the park and read, or I'll go book shopping, but like I never like go sit at a cafe or something like that. I don't know, maybe we'll do that today. It depends on like how I'm feeling, but to be honest, I kind of just want to go to the park, and then yeah, I like what I like. It is what it is. But anyway, I wanted to show y'all the books that I've been getting. So basically, yeah, my man's been spoiling me with the books and I've been loving it. Definitely time to go on a book ban because it's just getting out of hand. However, I did this past weekend, I donated 10 books to a bookshop in Brixton, and they actually gave me a really cute tote bag like as a thank you. So yeah, love that for me. I'll show you the tote bag in a minute. And then while I was there, the girl was just like, you might as well just take a new book since you're donating 10 today. So we got a new blind date with a book. I never like these and I always end up donating them. I don't know what it is. I just never like what it is that I choose. But this past weekend, I chose Witty, Fun, but Dangerous. Let's open it up and see what this is. The War of the Butterflies by Reginald Hill. I've heard of this author before and I've heard great things about this author, so maybe this actually will be a good one. Yeah, I have no idea what this is about, but I'll give a little synopsis on the screen. I have too many books to go through and like read it word for word, so I'm not gonna do that today. But yeah, this was the blind date with the book. I actually do quite like the cover. Like, this is really cool cover art and it does make me want to read it, and the fact that it's not super long. So I went to my favorite bookshop in Brixton called Bookmongers, and I picked up 3 books. And then the other day when my boyfriend was out and about in Oxford Circus, there was a man selling I guess rare and used books, so he brought me 3 books that day as well. So yeah, that's why I just spent a whole bunch of book shopping. First book I decided to pick up is called The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. So it's so crazy because my parents had this on our bookshelf growing up, like literally all my life, and I know both of them have read it, and I believe both of my older siblings have read it as well. I'm the only one that hasn't read it word for word. I do remember like being in secondary school and starting it, and I don't think I finished it, but it was only £3 at the bookshop, so that's why I went ahead and bought it, because I obviously don't have a copy out here anyway. And I sat down and actually read like the first 2 chapters, and I really like the writing style. I like how it's written in first person, and I just think it will be like a great story. And I've been loving literary fiction, nonfiction, and historical fiction these past couple of months. I think that's because of Octavia Butler. She's just a brilliant writer, and I feel like she's slightly getting me back into more serious reads, not just like the fun reads that I like to read, like thrillers or the romance books that I like to read. So yeah, I've been loving that so far. So I got this, and then I got the sequel to Parable of a Sower, which is what I just finished, and this is, you know, the review video of that. And then Parable of the Talents is like the sequel to it. So this follows Lauren's daughter in this story, and then like I guess we get to see her journey as a mother in still a very apocalyptic dystopian type of America, but I think she goes through it as a mother because like we follow her daughter Asha. So yeah, I was really excited when I got this as well. And then y'all, they had Magnolia Parks. Now this is the one in the this is the last book in the series. I believe this is the 5th book, so I need to get all the ones in between because I've only finished one. But like, y'all, this was only £3, and they had the beautiful covers. I love the UK covers better than the US covers that just have the shoes. These are just way more interesting to look at. So yeah, it'll be a while before I read this one, but like I had to get it because I was like, it was literally only one on the shelf and it was only £3. I'm like, I can't even get it that cheap Amazon or on bookstore. So I was like, I had to get it. So let's get into the books that my man got for me. The Afro-American Woman Struggles in Images by Sharon Harley. Whenever my man isn't really like a huge reader, but when he does read, he loves nonfiction. He loves to learn from what he reads whenever he is reading. So he always picks up some sort of like something that's gonna teach him something. So yeah, this is why he picked this up. And then obviously I was born and raised in the States, so this makes sense for me as well. And then he got Caribbean Women, The History and Habits by G.K. Ozzy. I don't know if I'm saying the surname right, but yeah, I'm really excited about this one as well because I do have Caribbean heritage on both sides of my family. Message to the Black Man in America by Elijah Muhammad. Obviously we're not in America, but you could still learn a lot from any Black activist because everything within the diaspora, within the Black experience, no matter where you come from in the diaspora, to a certain degree is interchangeable because we all just like experience the same level of discrimination and hatred depending on where we live, especially if you live in the West. So yeah, he's already started reading this, and then when he's finished, I'm definitely gonna try and read this as well. So yeah, that's all the books that I've been buying, been gifted. I'm blessed. I need to go on a book buying ban because my TBR shelf is so full and I'm not reading as quickly as I would like to be. But let's go to the park and get some reading done. The vlog. So I had made it to the park and it's pretty empty because it's only like noon. So I'm assuming it will get more packed a little bit throughout the day. Reading The Love Dare by Abiola Bello. I believe she's a British Nigerian author and she wrote The Love Dare I think sometime in 2022. She also wrote these cute holiday books on the back, Only for the Holidays and Love in the Winterland. Both of these were on my Christmas TBR this past December and I didn't get them. But I really like her writing, so I'm gonna need to get those for when it's Christmas time this year. I did this literally last night and I'm on chapter 12. It was so good and it's such an easy read. Her writing kind of reminds me of Frida McFadden in the way of like, it's the type of book where it's such an easy read that you can finish it throughout, like you can finish it in one sitting. The only reason why I did it is because I started it at like 11 o'clock at night. So the book I'm going to be reviewing is Parable of a Sower by Octavia E. Butler. This is a book brilliantly thought out. Like I really love her writing style and I love how it's written in the way of a journal. It follows a girl named Lauren who basically is living in a post-apocalyptic dystopian type of America, and we just follow her journey as she navigates this new world. Okay, so the book follows Lauren and her family and it's written in the style of a journal, which is really nice. Basically we follow her journey as she navigates this new America that she's having to live in. She also starts her own journey in her own religion called Earthseed, and she rejects like the westernized and kind of explores her own spirituality within this apocalyptic type of dystopia world she's currently living in, to sort of keep her going and to keep her having some sort of faith and spirituality within all the hardships she's facing. I think one of the things I find most interesting about this story is the fact that it's actually it was written in 1993 and it was re-released I think 2 years ago or a year ago, 2023 maybe. And a lot of like what's been happening in this story, like we actually do see it come to light within American society today. So it's almost like Octavia Butler, or her character Lauren, like predicted what America is now looking like, and that's really scary considering like it's meant to be the free world. You're meant to come over here and it's a land of opportunity, like all the things that they sort of tell us growing up, especially as an American. It's just like BS. Obviously, like the American dream doesn't really exist. And so yeah, this book kind of explores all of that. And well, the book is set within Southern California and focuses on how the US is falling apart, and we really are living in like a dystopian, apocalyptic type of society. Lauren and her family personally are not rich, but they aren't like super impoverished either. They get by, but basically they're in like that sort of middle class, even though like it's dying out because like it's still a very apocalyptic type of society at the moment. And basically their neighborhood has built a wall to protect people from looters and other people from lower classes who are just trying to steal and cause anarchy within society. And then each neighborhood, each house kind of takes turns watching the neighborhood throughout the night, making sure that thieves don't get in and steal food, money, weapons, anything like that's sort of needed for them to survive. There's a lot, especially on page 135. Octavia writes, people are setting fires because they are frustrated, angry, and hopeless. They have no power to improve their lives, but they have the power to make others' lives even more miserable. And the only way to prove that to yourself is that the only way to prove to yourself that you have power is to use it. So basically, I think what Octavia is trying to convey is that people get so desperate that like they just start not to care, and they start to just destroy any and everything because you're trying to take back what little power you feel like you have. And we see that a lot, right, when like there's riots or even protests in a sense, or sort of a symbolism of like rebellion and sort of fighting back against a system you feel like has constantly failed you. And if you wake up and just see dead bodies laying about, you have to teach your kids how to use a gun by the age of 10, or everyone is carrying a knife, or you're riding your bikes on the way to church and you might get shot down just because like that's just a normal Sunday, and that's just like sort of your reality. You're gonna have that mindset. And I really loved about how Octavia wrote the main character Lauren is that she has hyper empathy. It's sort of what they called it. They almost talked about it in the actual book as if it was like some sort of disease. However, they just kind of refer to it as like she feels other people's pain. And we even see her like having to take lives, obviously, to defend herself and to keep herself and people that were traveling with her safe. And she can literally feel like the bullets or the stab wounds that she's inflicted. And it really just like explores how even within having to protect yourself and your own family, like you can still feel some sort of regret and hurt that you have to harm someone else in order to protect yourself, which I think every human being on the earth is capable of, simply because we all have fight or flight. So yeah, I really like that aspect of the story, and I think it humanized Lauren as well, which was really nice. And we got to see the duality of how sometimes it, like, in order to survive, people are put in situations where they feel like they have to be violent even if they don't want to, but they still regret, like, oh wow, I took a human life, you know. We see so many different themes set within this book. We see social inequality, racism, sexism, references to slavery or indentured servitude. People really like do whatever in order to survive in this story. People literally sell their bodies, their souls, sometimes in order to make ends meet. And it's really scary because the book constantly alludes to how even if you do have a job and you are getting paid, it's not enough to cover your basic necessities, which is why I feel like Octavia is brilliant because, like, literally we are seeing that in every major city in the States right now. Like, people aren't able to afford rent, housing, food, transportation, with, like, you know what I'm saying? People aren't able to afford these basic necessities that everyone needs. They're unemployed and, like, they can't get a job, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like people aren't being able to afford basic human needs, which are really just basic human rights. It's really scary because now, like, well, represented within the story, and we do see it a little bit within American society as well, like certain basic human needs are now seen as luxuries. In the story, it was water. Water was very, very scarce within the story, and it's like if you had water, it was almost like you had gold. And I feel like right now in the States, that's probably like housing. Like if you own a home, or if you're able to rent an apartment, that is like gold, because it doesn't happen. A lot of young people, even middle-aged people, aren't able to afford homes, or they're buying homes really, really late in their lives because it's just too expensive and it doesn't compute with people's salaries, so people aren't able to buy homes. So this is also a coming age story for Lauren, and in the book it heavily focuses on community, kin, and fictive kin as well. So within the story we get to meet all of Lauren's family, and she has a stepmother, a father, and 3 younger brothers. So she's the oldest. No, 4 younger brothers, sorry. I think it's 4. And basically, we see her having to be like somewhat of an older sister, sometimes a second parent to her younger siblings, but also as she starts to lose some people along the way, we see her build a new sense of community and find new community within people from her neighborhood that eventually become like fictive kin, or a surrogate family for her, because she loses people along the way, obviously because of the society she's currently living in, which I really enjoyed because it shows that there really is strength in numbers, and regardless of any type of situation you're in, you're always gonna need somebody else. Like no one can ever do it alone. We see religion come up a lot. Octavia writes from Lauren's perspective as like she's really questioning God, like she doesn't hear God. She's really starting not to believe in the God that her family believes in. So her dad was actually a pastor, so she's a PK. And I like how the author explores the complexities of that, because it's like, of course you would. I think one thing that particularly I don't like about religion is that like people pretend that you can't ask questions about it all the time, when I feel like that's fairly normal, because if anything, questions kind of affirm whatever it is that you kind of already believe, but like you just have questions about it because you want to think critically about it. So she starts her own religion called Earthseed, which is just a belief system or some sort of philosophy that focuses on God being change. I think it is fairly okay that she wants to have some sort of transformation or change, or just see some sort of redemption within the society that she's living in, and she doesn't really want her situation to stay the same, and she's really open and embracing change. So like that's really the main message of her own sort of religion or spirituality. So all in all, I loved reading this book. Honestly, it took me like 5 days to read. I got through it fairly quick for me because I'm a pretty slow reader, but it was hard sometimes to pick it up and read, just because it's such a graphic and detailed book. Like when it comes to Octavia Butler's writing, she really like tells it how it is, and I think it's good because this is such like an important story that needs to be told. It needs to be reiterated, that it's like you can't sugarcoat anything, and I really appreciate that like she went all in with it. But it can be a hard read at times because it's like it's real. Like it's a real dystopian type of society and dystopian type of novel. It's such an important read to understand American culture and American society at the moment. Okay, so like my final thoughts on it are like, I genuinely think Lauren, the main character in the story, and Octavia are like prophets because the things that I've been reading, and after I read, like I did some sort of deep dive a little bit into society and people, mainly people who were like experiencing America but in a dystopian type of way, and I feel like everyone kind of is in a sense, but I mean like those who really go without, those who have their human rights violated pretty much every day because they're not able to afford their basic human needs. With a country as wealthy, like with a nation as wealthy as America is, I just feel like that is just pure evil. That we have people sleeping on the streets, people making camps, people sleeping in tunnels, people going without food, people dying, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, even like what we're doing to the earth, like it's just, I can go on and on and on, y'all. I won't, because I feel like this video will be too long, but yeah, it's just like really sad to see sort of where it's going. And actually when I did a deep dive into everything that's going on, a lot of it is already in this story, which is why I love this book so much. I really want to read more banned books. It felt very like revolutionary to me in a sense, because I don't know, like there's just something about like rebelling within like a hobby of mine. I feel like I'm rebelling, but I'm literally just reading. I'm educating myself, right? But knowledge is power. Like knowledge is power, knowledge is freedom, knowledge is everything. And so I'm going to continue to read all the books that are on the banned book list, and my hours now, and it's such a beautiful day. The sun comes and goes, which is kind of nice because like we get shade and a bit of warmth. But yeah, I've gotten like 50% done this book already, and I literally started it at 11 o'clock last night, so I feel good about me. But I think I'm gonna head back because I have to tinkle and because I need to get started on dinner. I just realized I haven't even cooked anything for dinner tonight, and I hate when the park gets like packed up with kids and families and stuff because it becomes very loud and you don't have like the peace and quiet to read. And the kids are about to get out of school. There are a few families here already actually, so I know it's about time to like wrap it up and go. But yeah, it's been such a beautiful time, such a beautiful day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Once again, my name is simply Heyyyy. Comment down your channels below because I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.